I'm in Carlsbad, California after my inaugural American Airlines flight to fly in public charter carrier JSX. The JSX model tends to focus on smaller airports near population centers, like here in Carlsbad that's located about an hour north of downtown San Diego. JSX stands for Just Simple Experience, and that truly is the case here. As with most of their operations, they fly from small FBOs and private charter terminals. Here in Carlsbad, they do depart out of the main passenger terminal, but it's a small enough airport so that it still feels like a private experience. You only need to arrive at the airport no later than 20 minutes before your scheduled departure, which does add to the hop-on and hop-off experience. Since United Airlines left Carlsbad in 2015, JSX was the second carrier to be successful here in Carlsbad, just after Advanced Airlines, that operates flights up to Mammoth Lakes. Here in Carlsbad, JSX does serve 4 destinations. They fly to Vegas twice a day, Phoenix via Scottsdale once a day. Flights to Oakland start in March of 2025 with 4 times a week flights, as well as seasonal flights to Taos, New Mexico. When you walk in the passenger terminal, you'll see the check-in counters for American, Advanced, as well as JSX. The arrival and departure board for flights is just behind the counter. My flight to Scottsdale was delayed a little bit, but it was due to the air traffic flow out of Las Vegas, which is where my aircraft was coming from. My aircraft for the flight over to Scottsdale will be N922JX, an Embraer E145LR that was originally delivered to Continental Express in December of 1999, went to ExpressJet in July of 2001, and then finally came to JSX in August of 2022. Here in Carlsbad, when it's time to finally go out to the aircraft, you go out the side door of the terminal, and they first bring you through a small scanner. They check your ID and your boarding pass receipt, and you're on your way out to the aircraft. Even though the E145 technically seats 50 passengers, due to JSX being under Part 380, they configured their E145s into a 1x1 30-passenger configuration, so it matches the number of seats that their E135 has. They also removed the overhead bins on all of their aircraft to give it a more spacious feel. My seat for the flight over to Scottsdale will be 7C.
Scottsdale, Arizona, be on our way here in just a few moments to apologize for the delays this afternoon. Southern California air traffic control doesn't like the rain. They tend to back things up when this happens. Very similar conditions in Scottsdale right now. Overcast with a light drizzle. 6 months of sunshine has come to an end. Once airborne, we're looking about 40 minutes en route with these storms. We can expect some bumps along the way. Keep your eye on that seatbelt sign. My name is James. I'm accompanied up front by First Officer Chandler. Judy's going to be in the back taking great care of you. Thank you so much for joining us, and once again, welcome.
And adjust the straps if needed. Breathe normally, even if the bag does not inflate, as oxygen is still flowing. Be sure to secure your...
Before even taking off, they took our drink orders. I'll show the menu once we get in the air.
Enjoy your flight of 40 minutes once airborne.
flight over to Scottsdale, so let's start going over some of the features of flying on JSX. With only 30 seats on board this E145, there is plenty of room in between the seats for even the taller passengers to have plenty of room. Next to you on the wall, there was a power outlet which charged relatively quickly even with the full flight. As I briefly mentioned already, being a Part 380 carrier means that they can put at most 30 seats on board any of their aircraft, and since the E145 usually has 50 passenger seats on board, this leaves a lot of extra room, and JSX uses this to their advantage. The air carrier not only blocks the B seats, but they remove them entirely and use the space to put a side table as well as cup holders that can not only be used by those on the C side of the aircraft, but on the A side as well. And with the removal of the overhead bins, this adds additional head space on board the aircraft to make it seem bigger than it actually is. They also offer a relatively large tray table with a rustic look to it, although it isn't actually wood since you can't put anything highly flammable into the design of an aircraft. In the seatback pocket was the safety card as well as the in-flight menu. They offer many alcoholic drink options, as well as soft drinks, coffee, tea, and water. As mentioned, they did take our drink order before we even left Carlsbad. To read the menu options more, you're welcome to pause the video here. The weather was unusually bad, especially considering where in the country we were flying, with a lot of the flight having heavy turbulence. The single flight attendant did a very good job bringing out everyone's drink orders in between needing to sit down due to the turbulence en route. Unfortunately, because of the constant turbulence throughout the flight, there wasn't time for a snack service, and it didn't end up happening on the short flight between Carlsbad and Scottsdale. But that doesn't really matter, as the safety of the crew obviously has to come first. On JSX flights, they also offer totally free Wi-Fi from Starlink that's available from gate to gate, or in their case, hangar to hangar. By doing a basic speed test, it looks like it's really fast, which is helpful, especially on the longer flights in their system. Before we knew it, we had begun our descent into Scottsdale, but with the very poor weather conditions along the route, this is unfortunately what it looked like for most of the descent, although it did clear up a little bit when we got closer to the airport. had an absolutely wonderful flight on JSX, and this was my first time flying in the air carrier since 2019, back when they were still called Jet Suite X. Although I'm a little disappointed I never got to try their snack offering, I do understand that the safety of the crew comes first. However, the drink service was absolutely fantastic, and their Starlink Wi-Fi was super fast and will definitely come in handy on some of their longer flights in their system. JSX now faces indirect competition on this route from American Airlines, who started flights from Phoenix Sky Harbor to Carlsbad, California on the day I recorded this video, although I think their markets and selling points will still be completely separate and JSX will be fine, as even with departing a smaller airport like Carlsbad, if you're flying on American they still want you to get to the airport at least an hour and a half before the departure time, versus with JSX you can arrive 20 to 30 minutes before the departure time and be completely fine. When you get off the aircraft they have your checked bags waiting for you right at the aircraft door, and there's no need to go to baggage claim or even wait for your bags to be offloaded when you get off, making it not even a minute from plane to curb on your arrival, adding to the just simple experience of flying they so proudly boast.